Show, episode number 594. My name is John Morgan, and Cold Coffee is with me in an entirely different location in the estate. The plants have finally taken over.
The plant people have taken over.
We're gone. We're completely out of our normal recording area because you got a forest going over there.
It's the solo cup. Remember, I think I was telling you before I hadn't the next level, and it's so funny. I'm so behind when I'm supposed to have already done this stuff. Like, I have hot peppers over there, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait till these seedlings. And I'm like, looking at that search. I'm like, hey, is this a good time to try these peppers? And it's like, no, it's not.
It's absolutely
But typically,
not.
Because winter is coming, but since we have a warmer climate, ChatGPT's like, there's still time. There could be whatever. But, yeah, so now some of the ones that were in the seed starters are now in solo cup. So we are
this
now.
This is a project you got going,
It is.
bro.
It's full-on project.
I wish people could really soak this in and see what you got going. Like, I'm surprised you have time to do anything else around the house. Like, have you started?
Don't do it. All I do is read and talk to plants.
Have you started calling in work yet, or like sorry, MMA junkie, I am tending to the garden.
If I didn't work in the other room and then be able to kind of just sidle away and come over to check out the plants and stuff,
That's great.
It's pretty bad. It's funny. It's a full-on hobby, and it's funny because I was gonna tell you something, and then you were probably gonna laugh. I don't remember. I guess I ordered another one of those light sets because I got a notification that it was getting delivered. I was like, when did I order another one? I was like, I'm sure I had a reason for it.
Are you doing drunk gardening now?
I don't know what it is.
A few cocktails deep, and you start ordering stuff.
I think because when I put the ones in the solo cup, I was like, how am I going to have enough lighting? So I was like, let me get another lights because the lights that are laying on top of it are from the original set. It's kind of just thrown together over there. It looks like a crazy mix match because it's completely. I just threw it together, and I think that's probably why I did it. But yeah, so. I knew we are taping right now after the Contender series, and so rather than have the time to kind of clean up the tape, I was like, we're just gonna tape elsewhere and let the plants have the space that they've claimed.
Can't upset
I know,
the plants.
Right? You got to talk with them. You sweet talk them. I can't just like, hey, sorry, guys, I got to move you.
No,
that might stunt the growth,
frustrate them. Yeah, you're getting some steady stalks over there.
The hot peppers might come out extra hot and feisty if I do that to them. So we can't do that.
That's
so yeah,
great.
we're in a different part of the house.
Well, you mentioned that we were at Dana White's Contender Series. We just got done, and this is just going to serve as a Bilal Hassan appreciation thread. That's what we're doing here. To Bilal, obviously you've been watching CFFC and you've seen this man, so he was not a surprise to you and to expect. But man,
even the UFC people going into it, like when we saw, I showed you the clip earlier when we were yesterday asking Laura Sanko, like, who are you paying attention to? Like, this guy has been on their radar. So I thought it was kind of funny. Like, she could have, luckily when she was asked by Harrow, who are you paying attention to? She's like, I knew somebody was going to ask me the name of the fighter. I was like, I can't help her. There's only one fighter I know for sure on this card. So when she's like, there's an Indonesian fight, I was like, Bilal Hassan. I was like, thank goodness, the one. But it was hilarious because we've been watching and waiting.
Yep.
Everybody in the industry that knows who Bilal has been watching, waiting. So to ask the UFC commentator that's going to be calling the show, who are you watching and waiting for? He even did that for her. So I thought that was incredible. And to see the odds, that was bonkers.
Got up to minus 5,000.
I've never seen that before.
It's crazy.
Have we seen that in
UFC? They said it was the big. Oh, no, I don't think so. They said it was the biggest in the history of Contender Series, but it has to be the biggest.
It has to be the biggest in the UFC. I mean, at least two. I mean, I feel, or if it's not, I would be interested to see what was bigger than that. I mean, like, I feel like maybe we've heard minus 4,000 before, which we probably was like, that's bonkers. But coming in minus 5,000, that's just incredible.
Unbelievable. He went out there and he got it done. I mean, listen, the odds indicated what everybody thought that he was going to do, but you still got to go do it, right? You still got to go do it. And he went out there and did it.
Even if you get it done in the first round, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Bro got it done in the first minute.
45 seconds. And by the way, probably could have waved it off a little earlier than it was waved off, to be honest with you. Like, he was doing some damage on the ground. Herb Dean, he was letting that man try to fight out. But I'm just so happy, man. Bilal, I felt like, has deserved this opportunity for a long time. And I think if you haven't been watching CFFC, you got to see it a little bit tonight, because it's not just the fighting style, which is awesome. It's the personality too, right? He's got the whole thing going on. He's
moonwalk, the talk on the thing. He's a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
He talks the talk. But I mean, also, if you're in the room, I don't know how it came over on the broadcast. He had a crowd in the room.
Yep.
You know, not a lot of people. If you're not a local Las Vegas guy and you fight in the Apex, or whether you compete in the submission grappling or the UFC BJJ, you have a local crowd that shows up, and it's amazing. Tonight it felt like he was a local guy, because there was a huge loud pop. I really felt bad for his opponent, because when his opponent came in,
dead silent.
Dead silent. And then Bilal came in and was like, oh, goodness gracious. This is clearly the favorite. So, I mean, the guy's – he's doing the part. He's going out there. He's doing his thing. He had a reputation coming in here, and then he's bringing a crowd now. I mean, the UFC's got to be chomping at the bit, you know, to try to use this. And I know Dana's happy when guys want to call out fights and they want to jump back in there. He's ready to fight, but he's also bringing a crowd. He's bringing a country behind him as well.
And that helps.
Yeah.
That helps, leaning into his Indonesian heritage.
Yep.
You know, if you hadn't heard him before, if you just heard the name and you heard Indonesia, you might know. I mean, he grew up in the States, but he leans on his heritage from his parents to honor them. You know what I mean?
Speaking of, if you hadn't, go back and watch the interview tonight, you see him talking about his father on the journey along with him, and he actually started crying.
Yeah, he did.
I was like, dude, that's really cool.
Yep.
You know, like, I've seen this. That's the first time I've ever seen. I feel like maybe this is something that's came up before, but maybe just the brevity of tonight and where his journey's at, and then to talk about his father being along for the journey. He got emotional and started tearing up there. I was like, dude, this kid, man, he's got all the makings to be a star in the UFC.
It's incredible. I think he has all the tools, and like I said, the whole package from start to finish. So I was really, really happy for Bilal Hassan. And you know, great to see for you know, other athletes in CFFC to see that guy come in, and you know, you kind of see the path. So super happy. I will say this too, and you know, obviously I knew coming in Anthony Wint. I had been watching Anthony Wint because I actually wanted to get Anthony Wint to come fight for us in CFFC, because like this dude, you knew he was going to be something special as well. But I had never heard him speak as much as I did tonight.
And he spoke.
Quite
a bit. It might have been the longest. Interview tonight.
Might have been the longest post-fight interview tonight. But I like it. Like, he's like like motivational speaker-esque. You know what I mean? Talking about. I like his mindset of where he's at, and everything that he laid out there. Obviously, you know, his faith is obviously very important to him. He mentioned that a lot, but. I don't know. I just liked his attitude and his determination and his approach, and that dude is, I think, going to be humble guy, right? Like, I think he's going to be a problem at heavyweight. He's not I hesitate to say he's not the biggest dude, because he is hugely muscular.
He's huge, but
not height-wise.
Height-wise, exactly. I mean, like, he's got the stature of a linebacker. I mean, he's thick, he's muscled out. He said he was like 9% body fat. I was like, you are freaking kidding me, dude. He looked it at that weight. I mean, like, he's scary. But yeah, he wasn't the tallest, biggest dude, but man, he throws down. He even, you know, brought up Mike Tyson, which definitely makes you think about the Mike Tyson back in the day. They're always going up against the bigger guys, and he just throw those big, strong hands and drop them. And when he came out, and it was funny because I initially didn't even think about how strong his leg kicks were, but this guy being a former NFL type dude, his leg kicks were scary right off the bat. Man. Like, I mean, those set up the shots that folded him down. I mean, like, it was just scary. But yeah, I mean, like, humble dude, had a great. I just went back and looked at the time. Dana's interview was 15 minutes. Anthony's was 22 and a half minutes. So yes, it was easily the longest interview. This man, like, he can talk.
The man
can talk.
I will tell people, if you didn't watch the stream, I would go watch it. I think his personality.
He's got a fun personality.
Yeah, really
he's got a fun personality. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a welcome addition. And again, we've talked about, you know, and he was also humble too. Somebody was like, "Well, what about Cyril Gane?" He's like, "I'm not there."
Love that.
He's like, "I respect the dude and whatever." He's like, but he understands where he's at. But I love that about him already. You know, just. I like when a guy comes in there and you can tell he's willing to fight anybody, but he's also, like, you know, humble enough to say, like, I understand where I'm at in this division. Will I fight those guys eventually? Do I want to be there? Yes, but I will slow my roll and do, you know, take my time.
Won't call that guy, but hey, 6 months from now, a year from now, a year and a half from now, watch. I mean, right? You know what I mean? Like, I love the fact that he said that. And, yeah, you know, now he's able to train full-time, which he wasn't able to do before. So that man can make some big leaps and bounds. So keep your eye on Anthony Wint, man. I think that dude is going to be a problem in the division. You also saw Joe Cropscott and Tom Pagliarulo.
I was going to say, got to give you love to the other veteran of the CFFC.
Tom Pagliarulo as well had his pro debut in CFFC. So very cool to see that, man. He had a win there and then went fighting up in the Northeast area a little bit. Now he's relocated out to Denver. But, yeah, man, I thought that was cool. It does make me feel good when he's like, you were right there. You called my pro debut. You saw it. You know, I mean, of course that makes me feel good.
And he gave a good interview, too. I mean,
did.
like a lot of the guys, I think everybody's kind of, they know that it's not just about the fighting. You got to get out there and get the fight, but I think they understand, too. You got to be able to talk on the mic, and I think a lot of these guys are doing the work and coming here and sharing good bits of story. And I loved his whole thing too. Like, he came in there, he's like, I was absolutely scared of my opponent.
Love that.
What I was afraid of him coming in there, and I thanked him for it afterwards, and he changed me for what I needed to do going into that fight. And I was just like, dude, good for you. And yes, his opponent looked scary as all get out, and good for him to fight through that and got the TKO in the round 3. So good for him, man. It was fun. It was fun. But I love when these fighters are willing to, kind of open up a little bit and not be afraid to say those little things, because that's the stuff that we remember. And that's the stuff that's like, wow. No, because there's one thing to come in there and just be a badass and be like, I'm not scared. I'm never afraid of anything. Well, then I can't really relate to you because I have those moments, And so when you hear somebody do that, you're like, damn. So this guy is like us, but they're able to turn that switch. Maybe I can take some of that.
I love it.
And, so it's neat to hear
That's
that
why I have
sort of
thing. Such admiration for these guys, right? Like when you realize that, like they're not made of something different. Where like, oh, I have no fear when I get in there. Like, no, they second guess it, and they, but they show up.
They face the fear,
and they
do the thing, man. They
do
that deed, man. It's pretty cool.
So great work from everybody. Great start to Dana White's Contender Series. I do love this time of year. I did agree, by the way, with I was shocked that Fabrizio lost that fight.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up. I was like, we got to make sure we agree with Dana's decision to not give that because every time we go in there, we're like, is Dana just going to give contracts to give contracts? Yep. And I'm glad that he did the thing. And man, if you watched it, it was harsh. I felt like you said. To whether you agreed with the judges or not, but to hear Dana just kind of just say you didn't have it and straight up to him as he's looking on the screen, keep training. But he's also like,
you're a tough guy.
I didn't think you won.
Yeah,
I didn't agree with the refs, and then you got the poor guy Abe's just looking at the TV, and I was just like, that's gotta hurt,
bro.
Bad.
I'll be honest with you, man. I thought it was 30-27 Fabrizio. Like when they started reading a split result, I was like, what? A split decision?
And the guy gave him, I want to say, gave him all 3 rounds. I thought it was 30-27. I was like, you're crazy.
I couldn't believe it. So I was like, split decision. And then not only is it a split decision, but he won. I was like, what?
Yeah.
This is crazy. So anyway, fun start tonight. Fun start. My first event in the Apex, the new updated Apex. I know you got to go do the whole tour and everything.
Yesterday,
I wanted to get out there, but I was a little busy. So I just couldn't pull away to go do it.
Because we got some little gems. I mean, I know we're not done talking about this, but there were definitely some little gems that they released. But
the hotel is back.
The hotel,
on it. The whole
expansion, the whole complex that they're trying to talk about. We've talked about it in the past. If you're ever been by the Apex or seen it overhead, you'll see the headquarters, and there's that strip of land in between, and then you have the Apex. You got the PI on one side, you got the gym on the other one, but they own the land in between, and they own some of the land in the backside. So, they're talking about all these new crazy ideas, and, besides the hotel, they also talked about possible WWE doing something there in that land in between, or doing something here in Vegas, some sort of expansion of some sort, and maybe not just in the upstairs of the Apex where they've been in the past, or when we see the NFL did some stuff in there. But they talked about at one point about a hotel in the middle where the hotel could help, house fighters, do the other stuff. But in the talks yesterday, it was even the possibility of opening it to the public, having the Apex in the space also be a convention possibility, which once they started talking about, I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Now that you have all this extra space, I didn't even realize that. So they have the different. We knew they had the studio, and then we knew that the main event floor is called Studio A, I guess. And then they were talking about 2 other spaces within there. I'm just like, what are the other 2 spaces? And let alone the whole new VIP thing, which we've been in that area before. It's just another little room, but it's all connected to the kitchens, where even the 2 kitchens, when you go back there, they have the one kitchen that is like does the concessions and does the other stuff, and the other one, which can help out in the other one if it needs to, but it's more catering. So you could literally have an event or something in the front where you have a kitchen that's dealing with, the concessions that's helping with that thing, and then you could have someone that's still doing a catering thing that's doing something else in the background. Man. So whatever, I don't even know if they even thought about that at the beginning, or if it just kind of like, well, might as well build a kitchen, do this, and then somebody's like, well, if we're building a kitchen, can we do it like this so we can handle the two things or whatever? But the thought process that they have, and even when they heard Dana and them talking yesterday about, oh, we just thought about using this building, we were just going to plug and program Fight Pass with Muay Thai and TKO and Taekwondo and blah blah blah, to a point to where now it can literally have multiple events. They're streaming everywhere. Now it can have possible be a contender for conventions coming to space, concerts, comedy shows, you name it. And then whoever knows what's going to be in the middle. If you start talking about a hotel space, other expansion stuff for the WWE, then they can have wrestling events in there, and who knows. But the amount of land that's in between is easily twice as long as the current existent spaces of either the UFC headquarters and the Apex. When you're going long-wise, it's about the same width of the space, if not maybe bigger than what the Apex is.
Yep.
So the amount of space and what they can build in the middle, it's
incredible, man.
It's huge.
It's incredible to think what they're going to do there, man.
For them to say
excited.
that something's coming in a few months, I was really surprised by that, because I knew that they were talking about having – I did hear that I think Craig said it. At one point, I thought they were trying to have it done within 3 months to have the media room swapped and changed. But then Borsari made it sound like it would be done by December, which is September, October, November, which is about 3 months, about 4 months or something like that, swapping the media room. And that made a lot of sense when they started talking about, why they wanted to swap that and do that. But that's going to be a pretty big move right there. And then to build all this other stuff.
I didn't see that part, so where's that going?
It's going to be in the same thing. It's just swapping the room. So now everything is facing, like when you walk into the media room, as soon as you open up the door, you're facing the stage. This is why when Dana was up on the stage before, way back in the day, there's a fan opened up the door and interrupted the whole thing.
Yeah.
That won't happen when the room is swapped. There'll be another door to take you into the media room from it. And so we'll be facing the back wall that it is currently now. They're going to have to remove all the plumbing because there's actually a sink and the other stuff. So that's where the stage is going to be. They're going to change out the lighting. They're going to move the swap the tables and stuff, so everything, but they wanted to kind of make it more secure, so when people came into the room, if things are already active, it's not going to interfere, and it's not going to bug it. It makes a lot of sense when you said it like that, and that was at the point where I'm like, hey, Meta Apex, can we get hard lines? And they were like, is that something you guys want? I was like, he was like, it was
Are
like,
you serious?
It was like, he was like, are other people asking, or is it just you? I was like, I could go poll everybody over there. Everybody wants hardlines, so I think we need to keep pushing it. So I'm trying to get us hardlines in there.
I'll never forget that when we first came into that, there were hardlines running everywhere. And they were like, "Oh no, these aren't."
They just don't. They're not plugged in anywhere.
These existed somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my pet project.
These are the small things.
These are the small things that would mean a lot for media.
As media members, we need power and we need good internet. And if you got a hard line and you know it's safe and secure, like it speeds.
And it just makes your night so much shorter because you're not watching this upload thing, or when the Wi-Fi just happens to freaking go out and people are like, "What's wrong with the Wi-Fi?" I'm like, bro, it's not me.
Yeah.
It's this $7 billion company that I'm on their Wi-Fi and it's messing up. Like, my bad, bro. Sorry.
That's awesome.
But
man.
Yeah, it's exciting to see what it's going to be, and even as much as people love to hate on those places, even when it looks bigger and better, now people are still shitting on it. But the thought process of what they were able to do, and that was one of the things I thought was pretty cool yesterday in the tour. Just hearing Dana, Lawrence Epstein, Barsari talk about what this thing was able to kind of do in the time of when the COVID shut everything down. Help to fulfill the obligations of ESPN and all this other stuff that they would have had to figure it out, or either maybe have to give money back. Who knows what would have happened? So that kind of helped save them. But just the thought process to be able to keep open, to stay open, do things, and then now created this business that is now going to be another addition to Vegas for a convention space, a concert space, whatever, and it's still you still have other plans,
yep.
to kind of expand on it. So I'm interested to see what the future talks are going to be. But it was really neat to kind of just see that because we've been there from the get-go.
From the get-go.
I remember when they bought the building and gave us a tour, said, hey, we're going to have a groundbreaking. We went for the groundbreaking, and then to see everything along the lines, all the dirt updates and all the everything to kind of get to where it is now, and then to see where it's going. It's pretty cool because we've been there for all of them. I think I've missed like maybe 2 Apex shows or something,
crazy.
That's so it's crazy. It's pretty nuts, man.
I dig it, man. I listen, we've said it before. Obviously people hate on it on TV and whatever else, but like if you go to an event there, I've always said that from the beginning, even when it was the simple version of it, like it is cool as a fan because you're right up on top of the action like you never will be. And now that experience in there, and by the way, if you can go for a Contender Series event at those prices, so that's unbelievable.
So when Dana he said it again, even though we told him yesterday it was like the 45, so that must be with the fees included. So that if you go to AXS, is that how you pronounce it? AXS?
Access,
AXS TV, whatever. It's $43 to like $45, but I think that's everything. So that's with the fee. So when Dana's like, we're like, what about the price point? He's like, I just love that they make it $25. I was like, well, it's not really that, but and we tried to tell him it was like 40, 45 yesterday. He's like, oh, okay. And then today it was like 25 again. I was like, so in the UFC's eyes, they priced it at 20. Somebody priced it at 25, but they either with AXS put it together, and so which is kind of crazy. That means AXS is like throwing $20 on a $25 ticket for your fees or whatever, which is nuts. But still, to get in there for $45, and the place was packed. I meant to ask Dana if it was a sellout. I thought he would maybe come and tell us it was a sellout, but
considering tickets were only on sale for like a week or something, right?
Yeah, and even then, the configuration isn't quite the same as a UFC. So we already had one section of the bleachers that was closed because that's where they have the kitchen now. So we saw the kitchen now is out there on the floor. So we were wondering how they were going to do, and it didn't make it onto the TV, the broadcast, until afterwards. You kind of see everybody sitting there. But when you were watching the fights and before the night was over, if you looked over to the kitchen, Bilal and the first 3 guys were sitting over there. So they watched the fights.
From there.
By
the way, we'll clarify real quick. The kitchen is where the fighters sit and wait their fate, and we've always called it the kitchen because when it was at the Tough Gym, it literally was in the kitchen.
It was in the kitchen. They would literally hop up on the counter, and the kitchen was maybe a 10 by 20 foot room. It was super tiny. So we'd just sit in there waiting, and back then that was when the show was kind of going on, and everybody's just kind of sitting there, and we'd be waiting to see if somebody would come into the room and say, okay, so-and-so and so-and-so, you're coming. And then the other ones would just sit there, and we're like...
the first week or 2, nobody said anything.
Like, we had to tell them, I think that's it, guys. Thank you.
Considering the show is off the air now, I think you're good to go.
And and then remember we were just like, can somebody else do this so we don't have to do this? Like, this is kind of crazy. But yeah, so we've always, just kind of called it the kitchen. I think some of the UFC staff still does it as well.
That's funny.
But yeah, it is definitely not the kitchen, but the space where they wait to hear is, we've always called the kitchen. But yeah, the kitchen now is out on the floor. So I thought that was kind of neat. So even Bilal said that he thought it was pretty cool that they were able to sit out there and kind of take in those moments and watch it, and that's never happened before because the guys have always been behind the scenes waiting to get in there. So I thought that was a whole nother thing that if you're there as a fan of Bilal or whatever, you could have just been like, oh shit, there he is waiting.
Yep.
There it is. And that just adds another little element to it.
It's awesome, man. It's a great experience. I highly recommend it. Like you said, the UFC tickets are still, very affordable because it's not all just VIP only now.
Yep.
But obviously the Contender Series tickets are, you're not going to get into that building for that cheap. So highly recommend the experience. I like it in there. So looking forward to Contender Series throughout the year. We'll be going every Tuesday night, and so hopefully we'll see some more stars. We got some more CFFC people coming through, so I'll definitely be cheering. But we're super,
you guys started
happy.
Strong though. You guys started strong.
2-0, and obviously Bilal is the champ. That guy. It's funny. I didn't even.
They gave
realize.
a nice shout out to the CFFC tonight, Agreed. So that was pretty nice.
Agreed, man. I always like to hear that. By the way, I will go ahead and tease CFFC. We have got a big event. In fact, I'm actually.
We're gonna make this a little short. John's got to go to the airport after this.
I didn't actually completely finish packing, so I got to throw a couple things in there. It won't take me a second. Obviously, I've taken 1 or 2 business trips in my life before, so it won't take me that long. But yeah, I got to go to the airport tonight. I'm taking the red eye out there. I get there at 7 in the morning tomorrow morning. Weigh-ins Thursday, and then fights on Friday. if you are looking for some fights, it is going to be a fantastic card. We're going to have a 9-fight main card on UFC Fight Pass beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern, because the level of talent of people that want to be on this card. Obviously, we're in Philadelphia, so it's the night before UFC 330. So the matchmakers are going to be in the building. Potentially, Dana and Hunter might possibly stop by as well. So we'll see how it all plays out. But obviously, everybody is excited to be on that card. Christian Bobby and Adamu Issa in the main event. Jake Scott, Jared Betancourt, a couple of flyweight standouts. And then we had this change literally last night and this morning. Christian Turner, who's out of American Top Team, was fighting Tyler Grimsley, an undefeated athlete out of Michigan. Tyler Grimsley had to pull out, and a replacement came up, and it was Samander Muradov, who was a weight class up and undefeated. And Christian Turner said, yeah, I'll go up 15 pounds, and I'll take on the undefeated Tajikistan dude that I'm telling you right now has been turned down over and over and over. So mad respect for that.
Yeah,
that's the top 3 fights there. But we got talent all throughout it. Riley Palmer is back. Richie Lewis is back. Itzo Babalatse with Raheem Forrest. So really, really good card. So I'm really, really excited about that. And then I'm going to stay through on Saturday night to go to UFC 330 as well. So this is a busy, busy week for me, but an awesome week, man, to get to do Contender Series, a CFFC event, and a UFC event. All in a short little span is pretty awesome. We won't do a full breakdown of UFC 330. I think.
If they can talk about the top couple fights and maybe just another fight that's fun to watch or something.
Definitely, man. I mean, obviously, I think people are banging on this card a little bit, and I understand, that maybe you don't like some of the matchups. I do think there's some great names in there. Like Jalen Turner is back, which we always like watching him. Dante Johnson, who's a tough dude. I saw that he's in Vegas now and stepping up, so that's a big one to watch. I mean, Neil Magny is back. Jeremiah Wells is a CFFC vet. He's got a tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that started the night off. I mean, that's a bonker fight, man.
Yeah.
Every time that we're able to get Mick DeBeck on like an interview, we're always just like, yeah, we're gonna get that hacker traffic from overseas.
He delivers that hacker traffic.
People love watching that
He's
dude,
good.
Man, and he is really, really good.
He's good.
Yeah.
So we were having some conversations as we were wrapping up at the Apex about, who's got a better chance of winning. I will say, and I think it sounded like we didn't go deep into it, but it sounds like I think you're probably in the same boat as me, is that, people that are saying Ian Machado Gary has no chance at all, I just think are wrong. I mean, ultimately I'm picking Islam Makhachev, of course, but I do think there is a path to victory for Ian Machado Gary. I don't think it's going to be the most exciting fight if that plays out in fruition, because I think it's going to be a lot of sticking and moving and managing distance and staying out of the clinch and off the cage and off the ground. But, if he could stay on his bike and use his long frame and use his, crafty footwork and the thing I've been saying all along is, the thing about it is he's so disciplined that people are booing him or whatever. He's not going to care. He's just going to keep doing what he needs to do.
He's keeping his eye on the prize. I mean, if there was a bigger Islam is the bigger, badder version of what Bilal Muhammad tried to do. And we saw, I think a lot of people saw Bilal as being a test to kind of see whether that type of fighter would give Ian problems. And we saw that he did the work and he looked good. And Bilal was not a problem for him, you know. So I think, to think that he didn't do the work to try to work on everything possible to not let Islam get his hands on him and try to get the takedown and, and kind of do what he does. If he can keep the distance and stay moving and strike, he's got incredible striking skills. And we know that Bilal can get hurt if he can get stung a little bit, he's human and everybody's got a puncher's chance, but Islam is just so freaking good, man.
So good.
He just does what he does. So it's hard for, to pick against a champion. It's really hard to pick against a guy that a lot of people are considering, the pound-for-pound best fighter right now. And a lot of people, even Dana was on the Pat McAfee trying to talk about, whether the GOAT talk, everybody's pushing him on whether it's a GOAT. And, and he kind of just alluded to the fact, well, if he keeps doing what he's doing, it's hard to kind of not put him in that, context. But there's been so many great guys in different divisions that have been considered the GOAT. But it's hard to pick against that. But that being said, Ian's changed my mind on a lot of fights. I picked against him on a lot of fights, and he's proven me wrong. So it'd be interesting if this was the fight where he proves me wrong again. I don't think it's gonna happen, but he is so smart, man. He's a very fun, electric fighter, and I will tell you, if he gets the belt, the sort of shit talking, the stuff that he can, the fights he can set up. Islam's a very humble guy. He's not one to go out there and just talk a lot of trash or engage a lot of people in trash talk. Machado Gary will definitely engage in trash talk.
I would love, again, I'm picking Islam, and I do think Islam has every opportunity to win. But I would love to see Ian win just for the way that it would drive people crazy, like the chaos that would ensue among the fan base who loves to hate on that guy.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, it would be fun to watch. Just seeing people lose their minds. I'd also love to see Jillian Robertson.
Yes.
We have been such a fan of hers for years, right? I mean, the personality and the style. And then also the fact, that she works with Dean Thomas, who, I've started to work with Dean Thomas a lot through CFFC and gotten to know him a lot better in recent years. And so I'd love to see him get it done. But I do think it's a very, very challenging matchup because it just feels like, where Jillian Robertson is best is also where Mackenzie Dern is best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Mackenzie Dern's striking has come a long way. I mean, she's fighting her best right now that she's ever fought, So it's, again, the last fight, it's like, oh, well, it's really hard to pick against the champ. And I do have to put my stat picks in, but I think I hate picking against Jillian. She's just literally one of my favorite fighters. She is just a bundle of joy, and I just love talking with her. And I think it would be really, really cool. And I think, it'd be really fun to see a stoner champ.
Her social media is really just like total stoner.
It's just stoner shit, and I think it would be so fun for the UFC, which is like, oh, we're not going to try to tell people to stop saying this or whatever. Like, oh, that's great. You got your broadcast deal, and you got your champ over here just fucking chiefing away on all her videos. How cool would that be?
So great.
But no, Mackenzie Dern is legit. But between the two, we talked a little bit earlier about which of these two. The belt was maybe more at risk, and I think Mackenzie's belt is more at risk with Jillian.
I agree.
But again, it's not. Mackenzie her hands are fighting better than ever, and what I love about it is that she believes in her striking, so she's the one that's coming forward and engaging a lot more in her striking. We saw that in the last fight against Lemos, but. Dude, it's not like Jillian doesn't have hands.
No.
I mean, she has hands, but I mean, it'd be interesting to see how cool this two great jiu-jitsu fighters that are like, let's just stand and bang.
Just banging it out.
Like, let's go, And I think that would be a lot of fun. But no, I mean, I think both fights I'm going to be at the edge of my seat, excited to watch these. And I love the fact that I'm not there. I'll be sitting here watching at home, cutting socials, and enjoying the fight.
I love it. That should be fun. You know what? So I'm sitting here looking at the UFC schedule. I'm going to be honest with you. And I think, because obviously this week has been so much of a focus for me, knowing that we've got this big event on Friday night, and then of course, the pay-per-view and all that stuff. But when Dana White said that they're going to put Anthony Wint on Sacramento, I didn't realize that's next week. For some reason, I thought it was a few more weeks off. That's next week.
Is the second on the 22nd?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't have it on my calendar.
Yep. Sacramento is the 22nd. So, man, he's talking about getting Wint booked next Saturday night. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's weird. I thought there was like a real, because I have there was a boxing event I got credentialed for. I mean, granted, I'm not going to the Sacramento, but yeah, I don't know how that slipped my thing, but yeah. That's news to me.
There you go. So you were just as shocked as me.
I was super shocked.
You were just as shocked as me. I got to figure out, I wonder where they'll take Bilal on. There's an event on the 29th in Shanghai. I don't know if they'd want to bring him over to China.
Yeah, that's a little. I think they're not going to take him to Paris, I don't think.
No. Arizona would be nice. Maybe L.A. Get him on 331.
I can see Glenn. Oh, that's Noche. They're not going to take him to Noche.
They wouldn't take him to Noche. Hopefully they get him booked too. I know he said.
I mean, they're back in the main Apex in September 26th. I don't know how that card's playing out. I mean, that would give him a month.
Salt Lake City would be good.
I was going to say Salt Lake City.
In Washington, like a lot of his family would be able to make it.
Salt Lake City.
That would be a tough one. So
let's put it down now. October 3rd. That's our guess for Bilal Hassan. Book it.
All right, listen. Like I said, we'll keep it a little bit more brief.
You got to go there. I didn't realize you had to still run home or do whatever.
My flight board's in like an hour. I don't have that much packing to do, but I do need to get it together. And my flight board's in like an hour, so I should probably do that. So
that's all right. We touched on him. We gave him a little something.
We'll
make up for next time. We'll stay a little bit longer.
We'll make up for it. Yeah, we'll have a little bit to do. I don't leave until later in the week. Next week, I think I leave Thursday night. No, maybe Wednesday night.
So we still have to do another.
Still got to do another. But at least I don't have to leave that night. I leave Wednesday night. Yeah. We're in a stretch right now. So next week is a Next Gen event, and then we take August 29th off, and then we've got September 4th in Bristol, Virginia, and September 11th in Rockford, Illinois. So we're doing a stretch right now of 5 events in 6 weeks. So super, super busy. I wouldn't have it any other way. So apologies, we're a little short. I'll be honest, too, everything ran. This was the most convenient time for me, absolutely. But I did think we would be done with the interviews a lot faster than we were at Contender Series. They ran a little bit long.
And a little bit long. When you got one of the contract winners lasting longer than Dana, something's a little crazy.
You know it's a little crazy. So apologies for the brief edition, but always appreciate you joining us. And like I said, we'll make up for it next week. Enjoy this weekend. Like I said, please tune in to CFFC on Friday night. It's going to be a hell of a card. Kyle O'Hare is back with me. Madden Johnstone-Thomas is actually filling reporter duties as well. We're expecting a lot of UFC brass in the building, which should up the energy level at a venue that I think is already awesome. 2,300. That place gets loud and rowdy. And I can't wait for it. So join us there, and then I'll be in the building for UFC 330. And, yeah, man, enjoy all the MMA. And thanks for listening.